Digital technology is changing how businesses work, helping them serve customers better and making teams more connected. From using AI to improving digital tools, companies are moving fast to keep up. In this edition of Leaders in Focus, we speak to Anjali Dutta, Head of Digital Transformation and Marketing at Tech Mahindra, to understand how digital strategies are evolving and what it takes to stay ahead. Hi Anjali, thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited and so looking forward to this conversation with you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's always great to meet different people and then exchange some thoughts, right? So looking forward to our conversation.
So Anjali, you're a master of marketing and digital transformation. Two most important critical fields in today's time. How did you end up in this field? Like, what did you think before, entering this industry?
I never knew what I was planning to do or get into, right? To be very honest, when I was a kid, I always wanted to get into bio because that was very interesting. But my dad never wanted me to do so, right? And you know how things are, right? They will force you into something very different. And he wanted me to create films, make films, do some animation and so forth. And I used to go back and tell my dad, "Hey, excuse me, why you want me to make cartoons, right? I really don't want to do that." Wow. But you know how it is, right? Parents force you to do something.
Right. But that wasn't very traditional back then.
Correct.
At that point of time.
Yeah, it wasn't traditional, it was completely different. Right. And I was quite surprised why my dad was always wanting me to do that. But it's interesting, I was doing my 12th and I started learning animation and then started drawing cartoons and all that stuff. So by the time I was done with my 12th, I moved on and started doing job. And because there was no other option, I had to really figure it out, right? What it would turn out to be. And one fine day, I see myself joining an IT organization where I figured out, okay, there's something very interesting they were doing, right? They have, a lot of technology stuff, right? And they're trying to build some applications, some devices, but people are not liking it because it's lacking some human centricity, some feel, some touch and so forth. And I now have matured so far in terms of creative. So can I bring that creative essence to these kind of technology things, right? And that was the start of the thing. And I never knew that you would later on call it as digital transformation or digital marketing or something. It was just I entered in a world that I had no clue about, to be very honest.
That's quite interesting. Yes. Quite a journey, I must say. Okay, what are the biggest digital trends shaping customers and employees? And how do you see these digital trends evolving over the years?
See, digital trends, yes. Today we live in a world which is completely digital. I think I always keep saying we are kind of a very beautiful connected village, right? Time and space doesn't hold any value today because you will have customers evaluating you as a brand 24/7, right? And you cannot even lie. They are judging you before you even know, right? So that's what it is. So people are very digital. People are very educated in terms of what the brands are trying to say. They have enough options, hence they are very smart, right? That's one. And then if you talk about organization as well, it's getting increasingly complicated for them to continuously keep meeting expectation. Today, and I will correct it, meeting expectation is an old story. Exceeding expectation and surprising your customers is what everybody needs, right? Now, keeping that in consideration, we are both consumers and we are also creators, right? So if I put myself as a creator, a person working in an IT organization and so forth, we have our other set of challenges as well. What does that mean? That we have people, they want to work wherever they are. Right? They don't want to get confined in a room or a cabin or whatsoever. They want to do the job, maybe sitting somewhere in mountains or near the beach and so forth.
That's one trend I remember from COVID. Everybody wanted to go to the mountains and work from there.
You asked me. I always had my team calling and telling me, "Hey Anjali, we will take this brief from Goa." I said, "Excuse me, you were in Goa a few days ago, but hardly matters." Right. Now that is completely changed in the way people want to execute, do job. Right? So we also have to appreciate it. While we appreciate, there are a lot of other challenges that actually are getting imposed, right? That people, while they're digitally connected, there is still an emotional connect missing. So you get to do something very meaningful when you see person as a whole. Not only voice, not only, just reading the email, but you have to meet person complete, right? The body language, right? Talking, meeting, having tea together, having coffee together, eating together, sometimes crying together as well. that's when real magic happens. And that's where we all are struggling. We are now asking people to start coming to office maybe few days at least, so that they get to meet, get to engage and create something meaningful. And they are creating things for themselves. We are not creating things for robots, right? To be very honest, they won't be buying, right? Unless we see change after 60 years.
Yeah, we should be expecting that. Okay, what challenges do companies face while driving digital transformation across teams and systems?
That's a very beautiful question, and I will have two answers, right? The very first one, digital transformation it was always a name that people wanted to, people heard of it, people realized it's important, but they were not actioning it, right? The action really happened when the world entire got for a, complete pause, full stop, right? You have no way to engage, you have no way to actually, send stuff to your customers or talk to your customers. The only way is digital. So a lot of investment started happening from a digital transformation perspective. And they really understood that they have to completely, radically re-engineer and redesign the organization structure, right? The complete process, right? That's one. Now, you would also ask me another question, Anjali. Yes, we do understand digital transformation is important, but for everyone, it's not working out. What is the problem?
Like some people are scared of, accept these changes and, go ahead with these.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting question, but I'll just answer that in a second. Prior to that, digital transformation for everyone, it's not really giving the output. It's not because of the concept of digital transformation. It is because we have not understood it. That it is not technology transformation. It is basically the complete way you do your business, radically changing that. It requires strategy. You need to do a lot of outside-in analysis and inside-out analysis, right? Figure out what are others doing, competitors doing, how I really need to re-engineer, restructure my entire process, right? And how people who are my consumers see me today and how they want to see me tomorrow, right? And so forth. Second, very beautiful question that you asked, right, about people, right? Digital transformation is process, people and technology, right? So nothing is possible when you don't have your people alignment, right?
Absolutely.
We struggle, all of us struggle, in terms of communicating our thoughts back to our people. We think they will get it. We think, people are scared of change. Yes, they do, because they don't know what it is.
Right.
But if you tell them what it is and show them the future, I think there'll be less problems, right? So how do you cascade your information back to every individual who is impacted or would be impacted, and you listen from them? So there's a concept of feedback and feed forward, right? If you keep that channel open, I think we will see a better world where transformation happens, right?
Right. So what's the best way to communicate? Is it through surveys, or is it through just taking their feedbacks? Or how can they communicate with the employees and get the perfect feedback to make introduce something that's of interest to them?
That's another very good question. In fact, I was talking to somebody the other day, and it's kind of my complete bluntness and openness. Surveys, right? Surveys are the easy method of actually reaching out to masses and get their feedback and their reactions, but not always surveys are true, right? Because what time you're sending surveys, you're forcing people to put information. They don't feel the need, right? But they have to do it because you are asking. You are sitting at the top level asking it to be done, right? So you do it. So 50% of accuracy or maybe lesser accuracy you will actually achieve. I think there is no way removing that step. You have to keep it, but there are other methods, other processes that you have to incorporate, which is have lot of small group roundtables. You can have bigger town halls. You can have people write their ideas back, right, to some management. Create a hackathon, right? Listen from people. Have very open and unbiased way of doing these kind of activities, which is the moment you actually find the people who are your followers, they will always give you what you want to listen, right? Bring people who are not your followers. Bring people who think very differently. Bring guys who are opponent and hear from them. That's where the transformation success starts, right? Yeah, but again, that's piece of my thoughts. I've seen this happening. A lot of organizations have gone through these kind of challenges, right? Few were able to turn it on very quickly. Few struggled, but every individual has their own method, their style, right? That's what it is.
So these are two industries, where you need to keep yourself updated, and because the industry changes, tools change, and everything changes in the industry in the blink of an eye. So how can people in this industry, in fact, you could share how you've been keeping yourself updated with the latest tools and trends?
So that's again a good question, right? I was talking to my team members yesterday, right? And I was, the typical world that people live in, right, is that you have a brief, you have a project, you have to work, around that, and then everybody is happy, right? And I was telling my team to do something that they were not even understanding what it is, right? And they were saying, hey, Anjali, there's no project, why you are asking me to do this, right? But again, because I was saying, they were saying, okay, understood, Anjali. And they were actually finding ways of saying, but every time the but was coming. And I said, hey, excuse me, you are working with a wrong person. This is Anjali. I will never get satisfied. I will always create something that doesn't exist, right? So you will have to really do that. And then everybody started laughing. I know I'm a painful guy, but I'm actually asking us to create something that nobody's even asking us to do today.
Right.
Because if you do it, you will be much more mature, you will be much more knowledgeable, you will do a lot of recce about it.
Right.
The more recce you do, the more relevant you are, and less you are scared of any change that would come in. Because I'll tell you, right, technology, tools, methods will keep coming and going.
Right.
We live in a world where we are still dealing with humans. And humans are what? A gamut of lot of emotions and sentiments, right? And feelings and reactions. And the world is all about that only. You are making a tool to really answer that.
Right.
So go back to the core, that core of strategy. Strategy is not a tool, by the way. Strategy uses tool to convert something. You got me?
Of course.
So you have to ensure that you go to the top, very bottom level, to the root, and then understand why. And ask that why 5 times. Then you will have the answer.
So basically, you need to stay curious to stay relevant.
Absolutely. And I still have to answer your question, right? How do I do that? I keep reading, I keep writing my thoughts. I have this kind of a strange habit that whenever I get a thought, right, now I use my phone and I just write something. It can be anywhere. Sometimes when I'm boarding a flight or maybe at an odd place, then also I keep writing. I want to engage with my team, because the more I engage with my team, I'm actually relevant and I'm human and I'm logical. If I block myself in a room, I'm of no use. So I want to play with them, fight with them, challenge them. They challenge me. That's where the fun is. And then I keep reading, right? That's very important. Reading is more of a validation of my own thoughts and also adding to the thoughts and knowledge that I already have. And I keep doing courses. That's what it is.
Nice. That's the key, I think. So, next question.
No, I'll just correct you. The key is not the course, right? Sorry. The key is, do you have guts and appetite to play with your team? Most of the leaders misunderstand that I have to read 200 books in a year, or I have to read these many things. I have to write 500 articles. Then I can talk about anything.
Right.
No. The more you engage with your team, the more you work with them, the more you play with them, the more you see what's happening on the ground, you will be relevant not today, but forever.
Well, I would say that's a key takeaway.
Sure. Thank you.
So, AI has taken over the world. Every industry we see, people have become so dependent on AI. How do you see the job scenario changing in the future? Because, a lot of people are saying, we are going to lose out on a job. The world is going to change because of AI. How do you see it?
I don't see there is a problem, to be very honest. Things will change. New things will come, right? If we go back to older times, right, when we used to draw something, we used to draw onto a piece of paper, right? Then technology came in, we have smarter tools that can actually draw characters very quickly, right? So technology will change, but again, as humans will not change, right? They will always be there. There is no threat, but type of jobs will change, and a lot of leaders are talking about it. Enjoy playing with, and there are a lot of possibilities. As long as I remain authentic, I remain logical, right? I think I'll be able to use tools appropriately for my needs.
Lovely speaking with you, Anjali. I think I have a lot of takeaways myself personally. And thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting. I really appreciate it.
Well, that was a very interesting conversation with Anjali, where we learned about digital transformation and marketing. She clearly stated that it's not only about numbers, but about strategy and emotions. Thank you all for joining me today for this episode of Leaders in Focus. We'll stay connected and we'll meet you next week again with another personality. Thank you.